Greetings, everyone. My name is Joshua Vecchio, and I'd like to preface my business idea with a story on how my passion for health and wellness transpired. I've been an athlete for as long as I can remember. As a kid, I played soccer, took swimming lessons, and trained karate with my father. In high school, I played football, ran track, and wrestled. And in college, I was a member of Endicott's winningest football team during my 4 years with the program, and I played rugby abroad. My athletic background inspired my decision to major in exercise science, where I learned the ins and outs of how exercise and nutrition are keystone aspects of human health. Now, as much as I loved exercise science, I wanted more, so I tacked it on as a minor and switched to biology, where I've been learning how living systems function as an integrated whole. As a sophomore in college, I was still figuring out what I wanted to do with my life. And aside from starting my own gym, being a healthcare practitioner of some sort stood out to me as another viable option. I come from a background of medical practitioners. My mother, Catherine, is a physician assistant. And although she loves her work, she sometimes complains of overwhelm and burnout. So, as a sophomore, I decided to do my second internship at her office at Valley Medical in Florence, Mass, as an opportunity to take some of the onus off of her while also getting a taste for what a career in the medical field might be like for me. Now, while all the providers at Valley Medical were outstanding, and I learned a lot during my experience, when my internship coordinator asked if I would pursue a career in medicine, the answer was a resounding no. The primary reason was that patient visits were far too short because the practice needs a high rate of patient turnover to make enough money to stay afloat. So as a result, appointments often ended in the prescription of a drug for a condition that I knew for a fact could be treated otherwise. My mother would be the first to admit that this model is far from ideal and that not being able to treat patients properly has significantly contributed to her growing career dissatisfaction, which pains me to hear. And this phenomenon is not specific to Valley Medical. 53% of physicians nationwide rate their morale as somewhat or very negative, and half report experiencing burnout often or always. Now, seeing this revolving door spin over and over appalled me to my core. Both patients and providers were being done a disservice. Ever since then, I've been stuck with this interest in health and wellness that I haven't known what to do with since conventional medicine does not resonate with my values. In the ensuing years, I continued to read books, listen to podcasts, and watch videos on the health topics that interest me. And a few months ago, I stumbled upon this book by Dr. Chris Kresser called Unconventional Medicine, where he outlines a new approach to healthcare called functional medicine that he is convinced will replace conventional medicine by the end of the century. Here's why. Numerous health markers in the United States show that Americans are becoming increasingly unhealthy. 42%, nearly half of the American population, is considered obese, and 12% are diabetic. The two leading causes of death are heart disease, causing one American to die every 30 seconds, and cancer. The rates of both have become more prevalent over time. Moreover, rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide have also climbed, indicating that mental health is suffering too. At the same time, healthcare expenditures have grown from 5% of national GDP in 1960 to 20% in 2020. Now, I don't mean to overwhelm you with all these numbers and graphs. The point I want you to understand is that although healthcare expenses have skyrocketed, American health has plummeted. If our current healthcare system worked as intended, increasing increases in spending would be accompanied by improved health metrics, but the numbers show the opposite. Now, there are reasons for this which cannot be given due justice in a 10-minute video, but it boils down to the fact that the US healthcare system prioritizes the prescription of pharmaceuticals that only alleviate symptoms without solving the underlying problem that causes symptoms in the first place, which is precisely what I observed in my firsthand experience. This is evidenced by the fact that pharmaceutical sales have continually increased over time, as demonstrated by this graph. Now, myself and a growing community of healthcare practitioners alike subscribe to a novel system called functional medicine, which I mentioned earlier. In a nutshell, functional medicine identifies health conditions using root cause analysis and provides treatment through actionable lifestyle interventions. Now, a simple analogy for the difference between these two systems is, let's say you have a rock in your foot a rock in your shoe that's causing you foot pain. The conventional medical system would prescribe you an ibuprofen or maybe something stronger to cover up the pain, whereas functional medicine would seek to remove the rock entirely. To further distinguish between the conventional and functional approaches, I'll use the case study of an alias named John. After decades of living a sedentary lifestyle, John has developed a metabolic syndrome, which is characterized by obesity, diabetes, high cholesterol, and blood pressure, all of which are risk factors for heart disease and cancer. Due to the litany of conditions that John has, his career performance suffers. And since he loves what he does, so does his self worth, causing him to fall into a deep depression. So John decides to go see his primary care physician to get his health and his life back on track. In a rushed 15-minute appointment, John's doctor, who has 2,500 other patients to treat, only had time to identify the symptoms of John's issues and prescribe the appropriate meds. John was prescribed meds to lower his cholesterol and blood pressure, insulin for his diabetes, and Zoloft for his depression. Now, this case study is by no means an exaggeration. During my internship, it was common to see patients on double-digit medications for decades on end. John's doctor told him to lose weight and sent him on his way. Not knowing the most effective and sustainable weight loss methods, every time John tried to lose weight, he either failed or relapsed, and eventually he gave up entirely. John becomes dependent on his prescriptions for the rest of his life, all of which are paid for either by him out of pocket or his insurance company. Now imagine an alternate reality where John seeks treatment from a functional medicine practice. Not taking more patients than he can manage with efficacy and compassion, John's provider has time for an hour-long appointment where he systematically evaluates John's lifestyle from the ground up. He finds that John's diet mostly consists of processed food, that his exercise is limited, and that he has obstructive sleep apnea. Instead of prescribing John sleeping pills, his provider recognizes that obesity is a cause of sleep apnea and that sleep disruptions can reduce cognitive function and contribute to depression. John's provider refers him to specialized nutritionists and exercise physiologists within the practice to walk him through an optimized weight loss program tailored to his life and his genetic profile. John's progress is monitored in weekly telehealth visits with his health coaches who guide him through his weight loss journey. And over the course of a year, John loses 60 pounds, putting him in a healthy weight bracket. After successful weight loss, John's sleep apnea disappeared, allowing him to perform well at work, reversing his depression, and boosting his self-worth. Now, John feels like a new man, empowered by taking responsibility for his own health. As long as he consistently adheres to his new health-conscious lifestyle, he will likely never need his meds again, freeing him from dependency and saving him thousands of dollars in the process. The only drug John needed was to lose weight in a healthy, sustainable way. This is the power of functional medicine. My dream is to help people like John, who are misled by the conventional system, leading to unnecessary suffering and thwarting their ability to live up to their fullest potential. In order to make this dream a reality, I plan to partner with other like-minded medical practitioners and start my own holistic functional medicine practice with a twist. What sets my vision apart is that I have identified a gap between what standard functional medicine has to offer and the full spectrum of what society needs. In today's world, there's a glaring cultural blind spot regarding how to live well. At what age are we taught what it means to be a good person, or how to live a fulfilling life, how to manage our emotions and endure hard times gracefully, how to reconcile the inevitability of death in a productive way, how to sustain healthy relationships with friends, family, and loved ones. We're told that if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. But we're never shown how to find what it is we love to do or what our unique gift to the world is. These are among the most important inquiries that can possibly be considered, yet the initiative to answer them has been wholly ignored. In my practice, answering them would involve guided meditation sessions aimed at examining the mental processes that drive our thoughts, emotions, and decisions. Integrated lessons teaching insights from the most renowned philosophers, scholars, and contemplatives. Personalized self assessments to guide people toward aligning their passions and interests into a career they can thrive in. Excuse me. This will enable them to achieve their full potential in life, maximize their earning, all the while discovering a deep sense of meaning and purpose. I use the term holistic functional medicine because I will be taking every aspect of well being into account. An individual could be as physically healthy as humanly possible, but if they have low life satisfaction and no sense of meaning and failed relationships, what good is their physical health doing them? I don't know of any medical practice that takes such considerations into account when treating their patients. It's optimal well being I'm after, not the mere remediation of bodily ailments. I've been accepted to Endicott's MBA program and plan on concentrating in entrepreneurship to further my education on how to operate a business. This will constitute the first year following my graduation. In the second year, I will work towards attaining health and life coaching certifications to further bolster my qualifications to take responsibility for the well being of others. I will contact medical school graduates, licensed healthcare practitioners, and other health coaches using the Co-Founders Lab website in search of potential business partners. While doing so, I will create a website, YouTube channel, and social media accounts where I'll begin publishing content from knowledge I already have to build an audience while marketing my personal brand. I will also construct purchasable online courses related to my content and will offer priced consultations. Any revenue that I make will be immediately reinvested into the business. Within 3 years, the goal is to create an official LLC, begin treating clients online and in person at a small brick and mortar office that we can afford to lease. In 5 or 10 years, we're talking long term, my vision is to have a joint medical practice and health club where patients and clients can receive personalized treatment from their licensed provider, like a doctor, and then get supplementary guidance from the adjacent health club departments. This would also foster a sense of community among patients and clients, which is another important aspect of human well being, which I can speak to personally because my background as an athlete taught me how empowering it can be to have a team of support in your corner. Since I plan on bootstrapping my expenses, being awarded $10,000 would be an incredible boon toward forwarding my business. I would use such funding to help cover expenses of leasing office space, which is approximately $1,200 per month for livable square footage at the Cumming Center. I'd use it to help pay the salaries of any business partners and practitioners working with me, and to delegate certain tasks like web design to the appropriate professionals. I would like to thank the following advisors for their ongoing advice and guidance. Excuse me. Mike Hicks, founder of Revamp Performance in Hampton, New Hampshire. Bryn Clark, founder of New Harmony Wellness in Beverly, Massachusetts. David Stuckey, founder of Pioneer Valley Osteopathy in Northampton, Massachusetts. Nate Morrison, owner of Invictus Martial Arts in Beverly, Massachusetts. Dakota Hamill, entrepreneur and professor at Endicott. Brom Lutton, my advisor, and Foch Lovejoy, my business partner who's a marketing major here at Endicott, and Ryan Curley for inspiring me to pitch this idea. Thank you for taking the time to consider my application, and I hope to see you all at the Spark Tank Finals in April.